Two nerds set out on the quest to knowledge. Many goblins, hags, and even dragons stand between them and the answers they seek. Join Jeremiah and Rob as they crawl through caverns and challenge their own intellect, armed with only thoughts, wits, and rulebooks. These nerds will scour the lands for theories and insights never thought before. Will they rise to the challenge, or will they critically fail their lifelong quest? Welcome to Theoretical Insights of D&D.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Rob.
Eric, you going to say your signature line?
And I'm Eric.
There it is.
He
That's
said
the
it
last time we're
different
going to
this
hear
time.
from him for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, he'll make comments about how, cancer is a mental illness. But,
I'll say yeah every now and then.
I mean, yeah, but everyone does. Last episode, Rob couldn't help himself. He said, that's interesting, like 5 to 15 times. I didn't get an exact count.
Yeah, that's interesting, Jeremiah.
But anyways, we also have Roger here.
Hello, my name is Roger.
He's the guy that we talk crap about when he's not here. And when he's here.
Hey, at least you talk about me. My name gets out there.
Yep.
But anyways, we have Roger here with us and Eric. We're covering the Blood Hunter. This will be our good. I'm stroking out. Sorry. This will be our last class review.
Yep.
We're not going back to those two subclasses of the fighter that we missed because
We're lazy.
yeah, and we've already kind of talked about what they are. Echo Knight makes copies of himself. Gunslinger shoots. That's it.
I mean, there's not much more that can be said about them, honestly.
Yeah,
So whoosh and bang bang.
yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Juan Jane, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I remember that character.
Yes.
it was a good character. Man,
It was fun to play.
But yeah, today we're going to go over the Blood Hunter. Now, this is a class made by Matthew Mercer specifically for Taliesin Jaffe whenever he was going to start playing. I believe he was... I don't know if he made it specifically for the character of Mollymock or if he made it, just to have fun. But this is created by the DM of Critical Role and everybody's, kind of favorite DM in a way, Matt Mercer.
also the man famous for the Matt Mercer effect.
Yeah.
And everyone here knows exactly who you're talking about, and I've never watched it.
Yep. That's the power that comes with the name of Matt Mercer. That and
I got a
he's
cousin.
He's a great guy.
I got a cousin
Yeah.
that was born like a month ago. Even she knows Matt Mercer.
I mean,
He delivered her.
Yeah,
He was the doctor.
the Blood Hunter is still considered unofficial material.
yeah. It even
Which
says
is surprising.
That. Well, it does make sense because honestly, when you kind of look at it, it sort of fits and sort of doesn't fit 5e, in my opinion.
Well, if you look at the Blood Hunter, it is pretty much a fighter and or a ranger, more like a ranger than anything, but with a little bit of magic that's not so much magic thrown in, unless you go into the Order of Profane Soul. Right.
I've always kind of viewed it more as a fighter, but a more extent on like a, Eldritch Knight.
Yeah.
Kind of like a step in a different direction.
Well, it doesn't really fit the fighter Eldritch Knight thing. If anything, it's closer to the ranger, just because it's not getting the 4 attacks per action, and like a ranger, you can get up to 2 attacks per action at higher levels with the Blood Hunter.
I've always imagined a Blood Hunter as just a diet witcher.
I mean,
That's
it's
what it
not
is.
impossible.
Oh, no,
As a
what-
matter of fact, to bring it up real quick, this is not the first time that Matt Mercer made something, because he helped Vin Diesel whenever he made the movie Witch Hunter. I
Yeah.
think it's called Witch Hunter. They did a Celebrity D&D with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
And
that.
he had the class of the Witch Hunter, playing himself as Calder. So it was actually a really cool thing that they put in, and I wish they had put the Witch Hunter onto D&D Beyond like they did Blood Hunter. But at this point,
he also
I know-
made the Gunslinger.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Now at this point, the Blood Hunter has been on D&D Beyond for 4 years.
It's been a
At
while.
least 2 days.
And with the close relationship that Critical Role and Matt Mercer has with Wizards of the Coast and D&D Beyond, you would think by now they would have reached out and be like, "Hey, Matt, you know what? Why don't we just go ahead and make this official? You know what? Let's put it in, because I mean, if we can have a bard walking around just creating stuff out of the air, sure, we can have a guy with magic blood.
I mean,
What's so crazy about it?
The
Sorcerers have it.
Yeah.
There.
I mean, at the same time, though, if you're going to try to hold him up on that pedestal, you could also go to the other people that have created hours and hours of different variety of content that's not broken. There's
Well,
a
the
lot of
Blood Hunter's
things
not broken.
Well, it's not broken.
It's a strong
I'm
class.
just saying that
It's okay. Hold up. It doesn't even compare, number one, to most of the fighter subclasses, most of the cleric subclasses. You know, all 14 of them.
Yeah.
The blade singing wizard, the genie, the hex blade, and the fiend warlock.
I didn't
College
say it was
Glamour.
overpowered. It's still a strong
College
class.
of Glamour, College of Creation, College of Swords. Even the College of Valor can
that's-
keep up with most of these subclasses.
you can break so many things by having an entourage. With
And there's
College of Glamour.
one word that I can say that will blow this out of the water. Artificer. Enough said.
No, that's true.
There's not a single artificer that is not broken to some extent.
Bag of
Now,
holding.
Can
Granted,
confirm.
there's not any class in D&D 5e that's not broken to a certain extent, except for one, and we're looking at you, Way the Four Elements Monk. You're a disappointment. You should be ashamed of yourself. But the one thing that the Blood Hunters got going for it is that while you're playing, you know, the fighter, the cleric, the paladin, the druid, whatever, you can come up with a pretty interesting backstory on that. But the Blood Hunter, within its own rights and its own class, the fact that it's got a magical sense within its blood gives it a little bit more of an option for even more depth into the backstory.
Ancient family history.
Yeah, ancient family history, or like my character Ford, where he was injected with some kind of mutagen.
Yeah.
And now that has coursing through his veins and is giving it some kind of magical effect.
Oh, the last one I played, his backstory was less of the way back kind of thing and more of his family was massacred by an ungodly evil. So he dedicated himself to the study of hunting them.
My Blood Hunter character, Dr. Fayshore, he was working on making a super soldier serum, but he couldn't get like funding or approval, so he just tested it on himself. He got addicted, then he got arrested. Then
Did he become Red Skull?
No, he eventually just like made some prison versions of it, then broke out, then just did a bunch of drugs and somehow wound up in the past.
Wow.
Well, my Blood Hunter. Wait, never mind. I haven't played.
But
Blood
see,
Hunter.
this is the interesting thing about the possibility of building a backstory for a Blood Hunter. Just, you know, the possibilities of it. It doesn't have to be this way. There are like 3 or 4 different routes that you can go to get the outcome of a Blood Hunter. A rogue, just about every rogue, my family was massacred, or I'm disowned by my family, or something like that. Warlock, I'm gloom, doom, and I've got a long haircut and wear eyeshadow. You know, that's for the most part.
Bards can come in. Well, I walked into town and experienced this odd, thing going on. And
Or
I
they
decided
come
to
from
help.
a place of nobility.
Yeah.
Or they just went to college.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of people that I've seen that play Blood Hunter usually go with like
now
a,
they owe 60,000
kind of like a
gold.
fiend hunter, like ghost hunter kind of theme.
Yeah. And that's one of the best themes. Like the Blood Hunter really fits in with the backstories of something like a ghost hunter or a bounty hunter or a monster slayer or stuff like that. Because naturally, kind of like a sorcerer, while they're not using any kind of magic to do so, they're using actual physical weapons more often than not. It almost makes perfect sense because the Blood Hunter, outside of maybe the Ranger, as far as the way everything sounds when you read it, reads to be the best monster hunter, bounty hunter, ghost hunter, whatever, in the game. That's how it reads.
So what you're getting at is who you gonna call Blood Hunter.
Exactly. You can have a DM and 4 players and have Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one of the things that the kind of the previous, like the 4-word or 4-text, whatever it's officially called on D&D Beyond about the Blood Hunter, basically they are a person who sacrifices sort of their humanity to fight off monsters and evil. And like we said before, you can take that many different ways. But let's go ahead and get into the mechanics of that, because this is what we're here for.
Now, here's what makes it so easily correlated with both the fighter and the ranger. And it's because the hit dice for this class is 1d10.
Yep.
So it's got the same hit dice as as the ranger, the fighter, and even the paladin. So it's got that meteor health hit die, because otherwise it could be grouped into the same class as the cleric, the rogue, and I think the warlock with a d8, Or is Warlock D6 with
Monk is
Sorcerer
also
and
a
Wizard?
D8.
Monk is also D8.
I'm not sure if for Warlock is, though. I'm going to check that.
I don't know. Most of the ones that I've seen people play, they'll go into roughly about 4, maybe 5 levels in Blood Hunter, and then they'll switch to a fighter and try to get benefits from
And
that.
that's a deadly combo.
Yeah.
I almost multi-class. If we had been going above 6th level in the game we're playing right now of Jeremiah's, I probably would have multi-classed into a Ranger. Because I'm thinking something of a Blood Hunter with what board is, and then a Gloomstalker or a Hunter or Monster Slayer on top of it would be really good.
I don't know. I think if it was given the chance to go further, a Living Crucible Blood Hunter combo would be pretty deadly too.
Oh, it would be ridiculous. Now, the proficiencies that you gain with this class are light armor, medium armor, and shields, just like the Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting the proficiency in everything like you do with the Fighter, because the Fighter is the, you pick it up, you can use it. You're also getting simple weapons and martial weapons, and you automatically start with alchemist supplies.
Now, your saving throws are dexterity and intelligence.
Now,
and
that is like the rogue.
Yeah, it is. Which, honestly, it makes more sense for the Blood Hunter to have the dexterity and intelligence than otherwise the rogue having it. You see a lot more charismatic rogues than intelligent rogues.
Well, I have a feeling that the main reason they put the intelligence in there on the rogue is because of the arcane trickster.
Yeah.
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 But the interesting thing about this is that there is an option on D&D Beyond to where you can have your Blood Maledict saving throws to where, you put this blood curse on them and they might have to take a D8 necrotic damage every time they attack. You can have those saves based off of intelligence and or wisdom.
That's pretty cool.
So you have that choice.
As for skills that you get by choosing this class, you can choose 3 from Acrobatics, Arcana, Athletics, History, Insight, Investigation, Religion, and Survival.
So they've given you the good mixture there of, obviously, there's your dexterity. If you didn't want to use dexterity, you could have athletics with your strength, but they're using both of the things that are readily available for intelligence and wisdom in intelligence, history, insight, and or history, investigation, and then wisdom and arcana. Wisdom being insight, religion, and survival.
Religion's intelligence.
Yeah.
Religion's intelligence as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow.
I know if I was setting up the character, I know the ones that I'd end up going with is probably Arcana, History, and Survival. I mean, because, they're going out, they're the ones fighting this kind of thing. They gotta have the knowledge on both magical and area history.
That's true.
Yeah.
Plus Survival, I mean, they're going out in the field all the time.
Yeah. With the equipment, you get to pick between a martial weapon or 2 simple weapons. You get a light crossbow and 20 bolts, studded leather armor or scale mail armor, or an explorer's pack and alchemist supplies.
I mean, that already gives it a nice head start with scale mail armor if you choose to take it.
Yeah.
Well, even still, if you have a high enough dexterity, the studded leather could be more than the scale mill.
Yeah, but
Because
it
you're
just-
only going to be able to put 2 into it, and you would have disadvantage on your stealth checks.
Not
with
unless
scaled
you
mail.
get variant human and got the medium armor master.
That's true.
Yeah, and
That's what I'm doing with my ranger, and it's beautiful.
Thanks for letting me know.
It's okay. I'll take Giovanni's half plate and give it to him.
But at first level, this is where this class comes in on its own. So you get Hunter's Bane, to where you've survived the Hunter's Bane, a dangerous, long-guarded ritual that alters your life's blood, forever binding you to the darkness and honing your senses against it. So you have advantage on survival checks to track fae, fiends, or undead, as well as on intelligence checks to recall information about those creatures. And it also empowers your body to control and shape Hemicraft magic, pretty much blood magic. Think of what's her name, Scarlet from Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's been in Mortal Kombat for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's the
Newest.
last time I saw her.
She was
that's
in
the-
Armageddon.
Yeah.
That was a good Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
So there are certain features that we're going to get into later that has a saving throw against that feature's effect, and that would be 8+ proficiency plus your Hemicraft modifier, which is your choice between intelligence or wisdom.
It's pretty good. I really like you being able to pick between those two because it allows you to build your character how you want to, instead of having to follow a preset template.
Yeah. But here's the other thing at first level of Blood Maledict. Now, this is similar to the Rogue's Sneak Attack in a way. You're getting to roll an extra damage die, except this one's, if you hit, is guaranteed damage. You don't have to have advantage or sneak attack or anything like that, or a surprise round to be able to pull it off. So you get the ability at first level to channel or sometimes sacrifice a part of your vital essence to curse and manipulate creatures through your Himicraft magic. You can learn an additional blood curse at 6th, 10th, 14th, and 18th level. And each time you learn a new blood curse, you can also choose one of the blood curses you know and replace it with another one. Now, each time you use the feature, you choose which curse to invoke from your curses you know. While invoking a blood curse, but before it affects the target, you can choose to amplify the curse by taking necrotic damage equal to 1 roll of your Himicraft die. This damage can't be reduced in any way. An amplified curse gains an additional effect noted in the curse's description, and creatures that don't have blood are immune to blood curses unless you have the amplified curse. Now, you only can do it once per short or long rest, but you can use it twice, starting at 6th level, 3 times at 13th, and up to 4 times at 17th level.
I mean, it's a pretty good feature.
I mean, it's the only feature like that in the game.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of features that you can really damage yourself to get a benefit out. There are a little bit, but none are coming to mind right now, probably because I'm dead tired.
It happens.
Yeah. But yeah, what are some of the blood curses? Is there a list of them?
Yeah, there's a list of them. You've got the Curse of the Anxious, Curse of Binding, Curse of Bloated Agony.
Bloated Agony is the one that'll do a D8 necrotic whenever they attack you, or was it whenever they attack, period?
Let's see.
Whenever they take attack.
Yeah, whenever they take attack. Then you've got Blood Curse of Corrosion, Curse of the Exorcist, Curse of Exposure, Curse of the Eyeless, of the Fallen Puppet, the Howl, of the Marked, of the Muddled Mind, Soul Eater, and that's all of them.
You've got an expansive list to choose from.
And keep in mind, every single one of these has an amplified feature that increases the potency of the blood curse. Like, for example, Blood Curse of the Mark. As a bonus action, you mark a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you until the end of your turn. Whenever you hit the cursed creature with a weapon for which you have an active Crimson Rite, you roll an additional Hemicraft die when determining the extra damage for that rite. If you amplify it, the next attack roll you make against the target before the end of your turn has advantage.
That's nice.
Yeah. Now, some of these do have prerequisites, like Blood Curse of the Howl. You have to be an 18th level Order of the Lycan subclass for the Blood Hunter. Blood Curse of the Exorcist, 15th level Order of the Ghost Slayer. Blood Curse of Corrosion, 15th level Order of the Mutant. But there are some that have no prerequisites at all, and they're all very good.
Yeah, they're useful in the right circumstance. And they're not always going to be useful, but they can come in a tight situation.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Fallen Puppet Curse. That looks very fun.
Now, here's what really helps this class out is the fighting style that you get to choose at 2nd level. Now, there are more fighting styles that are available now, like blind fighting, unarmed fighting, stuff like that.
Thrown weapon fighting.
And thrown weapon. But just off this list, you have archery, which is the +2 to bonus attack to attack rolls. Shoo. A +2 bonus to attack rolls you make with ranged weapons, which is what Ford did, because after that and his upgrades to his rifle, he's got a +12 to hit at 6th level. Dueling, so you get a +2 to damage rolls with the weapon as long as you're using it one-handed and no other weapons. Or great weapon fighting, and even 2-weapon fighting.
Yep. Those are pretty common. We went over those in like the fighter, paladin, and ranger
we went over them all kinds of.
Yeah.
But this is the one thing that the Blood Hunter gets that nobody else does, and that's the Crimson Rites.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Hunter's Bane was the one thing that the Blood Hunter got that no other class got. Or is that the Blood Curses that was the one thing that the Blood Hunter got that the other classes didn't get?
There's multiple things.
Okay. Just making sure.
You're probably too tired to realize that you're wrong and I'm right.
No, you're usually...
How many times did you argue with me about the cleric being the greatest class in D&D, and that here we are with a post from Antics at the Armory.
I never argued about the cleric.
Oh
not
yeah,
being-
you did.
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, you did.
No,
Oh yeah, you did.
no.
I remember.
Well, you
It's
remember
etched
it
into my
wrong.
brain because I was right and you were
I
wrong.
remember
I think
clearly.
Eric's cancer is spreading to your brain. You've been hanging out with him too much.
It's,
don't
I've
work
heard
like
it's
that.
contagious.
Yeah.
I think you kids need to simmer down. We can get you some candy and hot cocoa after this. We just need to get through this now.
We're
Well,
just going
so-
to mute his mic.
Yeah, we're gonna mute Roger's mic. So the Crimson Rite, this is basically sort of like the Blood Hunter's own like special smite in a way. Basically, as a bonus action, you can activate any rite you know on one weapon you're holding. The effect of that rite lasts until you finish a short or long rest. When you activate a rite, you take necrotic damage equal to one roll of your Hemocraft die. That is determined by your level in the class, by the way. And this damage can't be reduced by any way. But basically, you roll an additional dice, and the damage is determined by what rite you pick. So if you pick Rite of the Flame, it does fire damage. Rite of the Frozen is cold. Storm is lightning. Rite of the Dead is necrotic. Rite of the Oracle is psychic. And Rite of the Roar is thunder. But for the necrotic, psychic, and thunder, you have to be 14th level to get those.
Yeah, those I think are considered. I don't know exactly what the word is. I don't want to say rare, but I think it's considered rare occurrences or something like that, to where you have to have that certain level in the Blood Hunter class to be able to do so.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to run into fire, cold, and lightning resistances and immunities more often than necrotic, psychic, and thunder.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that they aren't out there, because I definitely know of a few creatures that have immunity and resistance to necrotic damage and
Yeah.
psychic.
Now, third level is where you get your subclass, and we'll cover those in just a second. 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th level, you're gaining an ability score improvement, and if you option to do so, you can take a feat in their place if your DM approves it. Now, 5th level, you get a second attack per action.
Woo!
That's big, especially when you've built your character to be an attacker.
Yeah.
6th level, this is where it comes into something kind of interesting. Brand of Castigation. So when you damage a creature with a weapon for which you have an active Crimson Rite, you can channel Hemocraft magic to sear an arcane brand into that creature with no action required. You always know the direction to the branded creature as long as it's on the same plane as you. And further, each time the branded creature deals damage to you or a creature that you can see within 5 feet of you, the branded creature takes psychic damage equal to your Hemocraft modifier, which is a minimum of 1. So either your wisdom or your intelligence, whatever that modifier may be.
So what you're saying is, at 6th level, you're gonna be fighting a horde of bandits, a whole camp full.
Mm-hmm.
You fight one, like instead of interrogating, you just hit him with a bow and arrow, with a right,
Brand of Castigation.
You hit
and
him,
you can follow him to the camp.
you hit him
You know
with
exactly
the bow.
where he's at. You could be on the other side of the continent, and 3 levels later know exactly where that guy's at.
Yep.
That's nice.
That could come in Scott.
Now, here's the reason I say that is because your brand lasts until you dismiss it, or until you use the feature to apply a brand to another creature. You could have the same creature branded for the entire lifetime of the game.
So I'm switching to a blood hunter on your campaigns. We can find out where the dragons are.
Unfortunately, they're not around yet, and I don't think you want them to be. But it
I
can
don't.
be dispelled with Dispel Magic, and it's treated as a spell with a level equal to half your Blood Hunter level, maximum of 9th.
That's when you get proficiency with improvised weapons. You just use your spit as an improvised weapon, put blood maledict on it. I know where you're at.
Punch
I
yourself
will
in the mouth
find
and
you.
spit on them. Now,
Hey.
you can only use that feature once per short or long rest.
Hey, you got to admit,
Or, yeah, short or long rest.
you got to admit though that would be a very intimidating tactic. You're like, hey, I know where you are.
I see you.
I could see this being used in a more role play aspect of like maybe the blood hunters, like the character has like, you know, someone special to them and they want to know where they're at. So maybe they've marked like a family member or a childhood friend. That way they know where that friend is at like at all times.
Or their
Now, here's the
wife, so they're
thing
not
that will-
cheating on them.
Here's the one thing that'll cancel that out. You remember in the expert classes when we were talking about the boon of the Skyrim crouch? Won't do you any good to have this on them if they Skyrim crouch.
Yeah, but this isn't scrying, so.
Yeah,
I
true.
mean, it's
still a magical effect.
You gotta
Nah,
love
not
that.
magic.
You gotta love that crouch, hitting them in the face. Huh.
Your brand can be
Gamecraft
dispelled
magic.
with dispel magic and is treated as a spell with a level equal to half your blood hunter level.
Yeah,
It
but
is
see,
treated
like,
as magic.
The thing is, though, like, Dispel Magic has somatic components. They're just kind of wiping it off. It's not magic. It's just a mark.
You channel
If
Hemocraft
Scrying
magic.
can't find the Artificer doing a Skyrim crouch, then this ain't going to be able to either.
Nah, this will be able to.
He's over here smoking crack.
Standing there with a
No,
nice
he would be
bottle of,
tired if he was.
standing there with a nice bottle of Dragonfire whiskey, trying to wash it off.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's what Dispel Magic is. It's,
Yeah.
It's just they take rubbing alcohol to the magical spell. It's like a little spray bottle.
Wax
Magic
on,
gone.
wax off.
Magic on, magic off. that's so it. Yeah, this isn't a magical effect. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Not-
right 90% of the time, and I'm in the 90% right now.
Okay.
Either way, you get Grim Psychometry.
Psychometry.
I don't care. At 9th level. Basically, you have the supernatural talent on figuring out the secrets that surround relics or places that have been touched by evil and sinister things. So if you were to make an intelligence history check to recall information about a tragic history of an object while you're touching or your current location, you have advantage on that check. Like
So-
maybe you came across like a ruined building, and your character, you asked, hey, can I roll history, see what happened here? And the DM's like, you have advantage because of the history here, and you learn some cool backstory.
So basically, can I figure out what happened here to this crushed building? Yeah, go ahead. Rolls. He kneels down, takes his finger, runs it across the dirt, tastes it. Yes, a hill giant did fall asleep here by accident once.
It's not impossible.
He may
in
have pissed
the-
himself.
In the text, the description, it says, at the DM's discretion, a suitably high roll might cause your character to experience brief visions of the past connected to the object or location.
I kind of like that.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of
I like
like how some games will have like a detective mode where it's like, you find clues and then like you see these like glowing silhouettes like act out what happened. You're like,
Yep.
yes.
So Arkham Asylum, Arkham City vibes.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
At 10th level, you gain dark augmentation. So the magic of your Hemocraft suffuses your body to permanently reinforce your resilience. Check this out. Your
Okay.
speed increases by 5 feet, and you have a bonus to strength, dexterity, and constitution saves equals to your Hemocraft modifier.
Huh.
So, your strength, dexterity, and constitution. Strength or dexterity being one of your better ones, and constitution, if you want a decent health pool, you're going to put that up a little bit. Well, your Hemocraft modifier, you're going to want that to be pretty decent to begin with because you don't want them to be able to easily make the saves against your Blood Maledicts. Well, say it's a +3. You got a +4 in your dex save. You need to make a saving throw for a fireball. You automatically have a +7.
Yeah.
So basically, reaching that level, congratulations.
And
You
that's
can-
if, and your proficiency with dex.
Mm-hmm.
So at your 10th level, proficiency is what, +4?
Believe so. Maybe.
So that's 4 +3 +3. That's a +10.
Yep.
So congratulations, your blood hunter now has discovered Mario mushrooms.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
13th level, you gain the Brand of Tethering. The psychic damage from your Brand of Castigation increases to twice your Hemocraft modifier. And additionally, a branded creature cannot take the dash action. And if it attempts to teleport or leave its current plane by any means, it takes 4d6 psychic damage and must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the attempt to teleport or leave the plane fails.
So
How-
you
That's
may not-
pretty dang
You may not want
good.
to put this on a level one once you reach 13th level.
That's pretty dang
I
good.
want to play this in a PvP against a wizard. Using
Do you
teleport.
have any idea how, ridiculously good this would have been in the final fight against Vecna in
Oh,
Critical Role
God,
whenever he
yes.
was trying to vamp out?
See, we've got alternate realities. This is Echo 397 from the Lunar Base number 6. We're here just making sure that everything is going when we have a wizard. Where did he come from?
Where did he go?
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
At
So, 14th level, you get Hardened Soul. You have advantage on saving throws against being charmed unfrightened.
pretty much, that's what a few of the more magical classes were getting. I think some of the subclasses.
Some of the
from, like-
races get this.
well, yeah, I think some of the rangers. I think one of the ranger subclasses got it.
Something.
I want to say one of the bards got it.
I think the Monster Slayer got it.
Yeah.
They have the Ranger.
Yeah, the class equivalent to. Psst, I've been there.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Been there, done that.
Exactly.
a little weak for 14th level, in my opinion.
Yeah. It kind of is.
Well, it just
We've
depends
seen
on how you
weaker.
play it, though.
No,
Well, I mean, we've
this-
seen weaker.
Or you could just play an elf.
Yeah, we've seen weaker, but
We've seen Way of the Four Elements.
yeah, I mean that's such a low bar. Don't even bring it up.
Now I'm just
That's like the limbo dance in hell. That's how low bar it is.
Air.
Yeah.
fire, earth, water.
Oh, no, and that's literally it. You have
Yeah.
you have 4 choices. That's it.
Yeah.
And you don't gain anything else. You're just a monk with 4 things. That's it.
I mean, for role play purposes, a monk is pretty good for that. But for functionality,
Yeah.
I mean, you could play. Have 4 players play Way of the Four Elements,
no.
and then have a
there's way
5th player
around
come in
that.
as Captain Planet.
And it turns out that he is also a monk. It doesn't work.
I honestly, I wouldn't mind this being amped up a little bit by maybe adding in 1 or 2 more conditions that make sense. You know,
Yeah.
I can't think of any conditions that would. Maybe,
I think maybe feared would be a good one.
well, that's frightened.
Yeah,
That's already in there.
Oh, you, duh.
That's such a good idea that it is already,
already there.
exists.
Yeah.
Well,
been there.
if you're going that route, you can always say since they've been there, they've done that, they're set in their ways. You could also add it to where they get advantage against persuasion rolls.
What about stunned?
Or what's the poisoned?
Yeah, you may as well because they've been out in the world for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind them having advantage on saving throws against.
But
the
you could
poison
also
condition.
give yourself, if you're designing your characters that way, you could also give yourself additional buffs depending on the race you choose.
Yeah, that's true. A half elf blood hunter would be kind of, ooh.
Yeah.
So you're the Witcher.
Plus, getting rid of 1 ability score improvement and adding lucky on top of the natural luck they have.
Ooh, here you go. A 1D&D orc blood hunter that uses a greatsword. You know, bonus action dash.
Lucky feat.
Dumb.
Lucky feat for him too. He just thinks he's good. But he's
Oh
not.
no, the boon of bountiful luck. How about that
God.
one?
God.
Yeah.
No.
Either way, 20th level you gain sanguine mastery. So the mastery of your blood magic reaches its height, mitigating your sacrifice and empowering your expertise. Once per turn, whenever a blood hunter feature requires you to roll a hemicraft die, you can re-roll the die and use either roll. Now, something that we failed to mention earlier is that starting at first level, when you do get your second level, when you do get your crimson right, it starts at 1d4. By the time you hit, I want to say it was at
5th level. I believe.
17th level, it goes up to a D10. Now, it does go up just like the Bardic Inspiration, so it goes from a D4 to a D6, then 8, and then 10. But you're getting upgraded damage that is guaranteed as long as you hit, whether it be 1 or up to 10. Now, additionally, whenever you score a critical hit with a weapon for which you have an active Crimson Right, you regain 1 expended use of your Blood Maledict feature. Now, remember, you only have a maximum of 4 at this point. So if you're in a pretty long fight and you get 3 or 4 crits in, you can use it up to 8 times. That's pretty dang good.
Now hold up. Let me try again. Here we go.
Yep.
Wait. Hold on. Pause. Yeah.
Rolls luck.
There's so many ways you could pimp this out.
Now, why don't we go into some of these orders? Because I like how they were worded it to where it's almost like a cleric, you know, the peace domain and all that stuff. But it's the order of the Ghost Slayer, the order of the Lycan, the order of the Mutant. There's some kind of it seems like there's some kind of calling to it.
There's like the structure to it.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Oath and the Paladins.
I don't
Now,
know.
Order of the Ghost Slayer is exactly what Ford is. Why? I don't know, but I like the sound of it. So, whenever you choose this order at 3rd level, you get Rite of the Dawn. So, you gain a second Crimson Rite by going this subclass. You could do Rite of the Flame, Rite of Lightning or Cold, and then you also have access to this. When you activate the Rite of the Dawn, the extra damage dealt with your Rite is radiant damage. Additionally, while the Rite is active on your weapon, you can have the weapon sheds bright light out to a range of 20 feet. You have necrotic damage resistance, and when you hit an undead creature with a weapon for which the Rite of the Dawn is active, you roll an additional Hemicraft die when determining the extra damage from the Rite. Also, at 3rd level, you get Curse Specialist to where you learn to master blood curses. You gain an additional use of your Blood Maledict feature, and in addition, your blood curses can target any creature, whether it has blood or not.
Get wrecked, ghosts.
If I may say, possibly the most powerful subclass. Possibly.
I don't know. We're going.
Early subclass, yes.
Yeah. As far as like if you're only going up to like 4th or 5th level, if it's going to be a low level campaign, Ghost Slayer is probably going to be the way to go if you really want to be good in combat.
I don't know. Ghost Slayer has a lot of things that you can do with it. I had a DM that I played with a few years back that they had it since they're upset. The way it worded, they're obsessed with the transition from life to death.
Yeah.
It sets in that most of them feel like their job isn't complete after death. They never found out what they were doing. So I had a DM that made it to where some blood hunters that went down this path became, undead fighters, or they would go to the other side and they would be guardians. And they'd be the ones you'd worry for when you start, meddling with things you ain't supposed to.
And, that brings into the possibility of you might want to be glad you stopped your campaign off at 6th level, because then there would have been 2 people in the party doing what Shade can do. Because at 7th level, you gain Aether Walk. Mm-hmm. At the start of your turn, you can magically step into the veil between planes as long as you aren't incapacitated, and you can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, as well as see and affect creatures and objects on the ethereal plane. You take 1d10 force damage if you end your turn inside an object. So you go over to the material plane, and you can affect and see, which means you can attack from the ethereal plane.
Yeah.
What is that Lord of the Rings game?
Shadow of War and Mordor.
Basically that.
Yeah.
That's where you want to have your multi-classing rogue come into play.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Walk through, come up behind him, and sneak attack.
Because all you got to do is break line of sight.
Now, there's a little bit of a drawback of this, or a little bit of chance per se, because this feature lasts for a number of rounds equal to your Hemicraft modifier.
Which
I thought it was a roll. Never mind.
No, it's your Hemicraft modifier.
I thought
so
it was
at least
like a roll of the
it's
dice.
a minimum of 1, but realistically at least 3.
There are extreme ways that you could break this.
Now, if you're inside an object when it ends, you immediately shunt it to the nearest unoccupied space, and you take force damage equal to twice the number of feet you moved. Once you use the feature, you got to finish a short or a long rest, but you can use it twice starting at 15th level.
Plus, it comes back short or long. That's the key word there, short
Yeah.
or long.
Yeah.
So you can just go through, and as long as your DM's okay with it, you got an hour or 2 off your feet, and then bam, you're back up and ready to go again.
Now imagine this: at 20th level, you've got all the stuff from the Blood Hunter class itself, and you're getting all the stuff from the subclass as well, which we're about to finish covering, but specifically the Aether Walk, and you're playing with a Genie Warlock. With its, 10-minute long rest?
Yeah, no.
I think so. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's a 10-minute long rest. You pop into your magical lamp, and you've got a 10-minute long rest. And you take short rests in between, and you can do it twice. If you have a 5 in your Hemicraft modifier, 5 rounds every combat.
But that also revolves around if you've got someone in your party to protect the lamp while you're in it.
Ah, that's why you clear the area first.
Put it really high up on a bookshelf.
Hanging in a tree like it's, the bear might crawl up there.
Accidentally puts the cap on the end of it. Hey, wait a minute, let me out. I can't get out.
Could you imagine you're just chilling and the lamp all of a sudden gets tilted over and you're poured into a teacup?
You're just sitting there staring at the guy
No,
like...
you're just looking up like, no sugar, no honey.
What a
Nothing.
big-
Come on.
You fall out of the lamp like full size and just break this poor man's teacup, and he's like,
No, you go through the table.
It's his family.
Straight through the table.
That teacup
What's
has been
going
passed
on?
down for generations.
I was just trying to drink some tea from a lamp. This is a lamp. I thought it was a kettle. Are
No,
you
no,
blind?
No,
Yeah.
Yes.
just imagine just laying back in your own little portal dimension. You just chilling in your lamp, and then someone opens it up and pours in scalding water.
Oh.
At 11th level, you gain Brand of Sundering. So your Brand of Castigation exposes a fragment of your foe's essence, leaving them vulnerable to your Crimson Right feature. Whenever you hit a creature with a weapon for which you have an active Crimson Right, you roll an additional Hemocraft die when determining the extra damage from the right. Additionally, if a branded creature has the incorporeal movement trait
There you go.
or a similar feature, it can't move through creatures or objects while it's branded.
Gotta watch out there, man.
Get
We're gonna have
wrecked,
to
ghosts.
send you to school with him.
Hey man, I got buck teeth, so every once in a while my lips get a hold of my teeth. This is just cool. At 15th level, you gain Blood Curse of the
At least
Exorcist.
I can speak.
Barely.
At least
Blood,
we can walk.
The
blood curse of the exorcist, you were saying, Rob?
exorcist.
You hone
Come
your
on.
Hemocraft to tear corruption from the minds and bodies of your allies, and to punish those responsible for it. You gain the Blood Curse of Exorcist for your Blood Maledict feature automatically, and it does not count against the number of blood curses that you know.
Cool.
Now, what was the Blood Curse of Exorcist again, Roger?
Let me dig in my brain again.
Come on, bud. You're supposed to be prepared.
Hey, it's been a while since I played any ones of these. As a bonus action, you choose one creature you can see within 30 feet that is charmed or frightened, or is under possession effect. The target creature is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed, but if you decide to amplify this ability, the creature that is charmed, frightened, or possessed, the target of your curse takes 3d6 psychic damage and must succeed a wisdom saving throw, or they are considered stunned until the end of your next turn.
So what you're telling me is that this can just end a dragon's fear effect.
Pretty much.
Well,
Kind of
that-
like, the Twilight clerics magical ball of Twilight.
That, and if you're really needing to do so, you could stun lock something for a short amount of time.
Oh my god.
But that they have to fail that wisdom save.
Just throw in a Twilight cleric. All I got to do is step into the magical ball of etherealness. You step in, and it just ends. They end their turn there, and it just poof, goes away.
Yeah.
Broken.
That's why clerics are badass.
So you
That's
walk-
why they nerfed him in 1D&D.
That's why I'm gonna
Pretty much.
I'm gonna write a very angry email to Wizards of the Coast.
It's not going to help.
Give me a second. We gotta. Get
I'm
my
gonna
tape.
sign it, Karen.
I gotta get my tape and my glasses. Dear Wizards of the Coast, I
How
don't
dare you.
like frowny face.
Hey,
How
Wiz will
dare
get
you
it.
nerf the cleric? I've spent so many years playing this class by itself. At 18th level, you gain Right Revival, so you learn to protect your fading life by reabsorbing the energy you feed to your weapons. If you have one or more Crimson Rights active and you're reduced to 0 hit points but don't die outright, okay, here we go. You can choose to have all your Crimson Rights end and drop to 1 hit point instead.
Cool.
See, that's when you're like, not today.
So you're a lich witcher, pretty much.
A licher.
No, now that I think
What are you? I'm a lister.
I haven't played a standard fighter in a while. What was it? The samurai?
Yeah, the samurai.
Yeah, imagine linking. If you're going like past a 20th level character, because I've played a few campaigns like that where they go past 20th. Imagine mixing that with the samurai class, because you'll be able to go down one extra turn, go through those turns, and then bam, you're back at 1 hit point.
Wow.
Go to Samurai, Half Orc, Shadow Sorcerer, Artificer, and
D&D
Blood
1.
Hunter. No. No,
I mean,
screw that.
if anything, you
Too
can
far.
always add it into like a tiefling thing and just go through the whole hellish rebuke, final showdown, extra turn, then bam, you're back up. That's a lot of damage.
So you want to piss off the big bad evil guy. You're dead. No, I'm not.
I didn't hear no bell. But yeah,
Do this all day.
Ghost Slayer's pretty good.
Now, Order of the Lycan is one that probably gets played more often.
I mean,
Because I'm not going to lie, it's cooler.
It's a werewolf.
yeah.
So, upon choosing this archetype at 3rd level, you gain heightened senses that improves the senses of a natural predator. You have advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing or smell. And you also gain hybrid transformation. So you learn to control the lycanthropic curse. I'll get it out eventually. That courses through your veins.
Get that lycanthropic curse out of you?
So,
Yep.
So it's similar to like a shifter.
Yeah, in a way, except this is a little more deadly.
Well, this is more with the Barbarian Path of the Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because see, you all are heading down the different subclasses now. The last time I had anything to do with it was Ghost Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
So this is like completely new territory. So
I had a character concept called Lycan Cubed. It was a shifter, blood hunter, Lycan, and barbarian Path of the Beast.
Oh, my Lord.
Dear God.
that's
Scary.
yeah.
That's all right.
Well, see,
But-
you do the Lycan with the Blood Hunter. The Path of the Beast Barbarian, you do the bear features.
So does that mean you walk onto the battlefield and it was like, so would you like to? And your answer was yes.
Well, but going back to your point about how you don't really know anything about these other subclasses, that's the beautiful thing about this podcast. We don't know everything. We don't do any research beforehand. We sit down and read and react as we go.
And
That's
I
why
know
we
jack
lost
all
our
about the
minds
Blood
in the cleric subclasses.
I don't even know what a blood hunter is.
They hunt blood.
Really?
Idiot.
Wow, this one's dried and decayed. We need a fresh one. Come on.
No, those do hunt blood. They're vampires.
They just run around. They just run around with giant syringes. I gotcha.
Think of the last Airbender.
was ready for you now.
Think of the last Airbender, the Bloodbenders.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Aang would have lost.
Oh,
Just running around. It's like, I can't find the blood trail for the blood. Blood doesn't bleed.
But with
It
hybrid
said but.
with hybrid transformation, as a bonus action, you can transform into a special hybrid form for up to 1 hour. You can speak, use equipment, and wear armor while you're in this form, and you can revert to your normal form as a bonus action. You automatically revert to your normal form if you fall unconscious or you die. Had to put the emphasis on that.
so what
Now,
you're
here's
saying, this is fighter druid,
Yeah, no, Ranger Druid.
ranger druid.
Now, here's the interesting things about that. While transformed, you gain the following benefits and drawbacks. So, you have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws, and you have a +1 bonus to melee damage rolls, and the bonus increases to +2 at 11th and +3 at 18th level. It gets big. Resilient Hide, you gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks not made with silvered weapons, and if you're not wearing heavy armor, you have a +1 bonus to AC.
Nice.
Very nice. Now, you also gain Predatory Strikes. You can apply your Crimson Right feature to your unarmed strikes, which treat as one weapon. You can use Dexterity instead of Strength for the attack and damage rolls of your unarmed strikes, which deal 1d6 bludgeoning or slashing damage, and that increases to d8 at 11th level. Additionally, when you take the attack action to make an unarmed strike, you can make one additional unarmed strike as a bonus action.
Swipe, swipe.
Yep.
And then you get the bonus attack, extra attack.
Yep.
Swipe, 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 swipe.
Now, here's the drawback of it. Bloodlust. If you start your turn with fewer hit points than half your hit point maximum, you have to succeed on a DC 8 wisdom saving throw, which, really low, but there's always the possibility of failing it. Or you move directly toward the nearest creature and use the attack action against that creature. If you're concentrating on a spell or are under the effects that prevent you from concentrating, such as a Barbarian's Rage feature, you automatically fail this save. If you have the extra attack feature, you can choose whether to use it for this frenzied attack. If more than one creature is equally near to you, roll randomly to determine the creature. Once your attack is resolved, you regain control of yourself. So you're sitting there with the bad guy, and the poor wizard is just a few feet away from you. The bad guy backs up. You take your opportunity attack, and you miss. He goes 5 foot further away than the wizard,
No.
and he launches something at you that puts you down below half your hit point maximum, and you just turn around on your turn and look at the wizard and say, "This is your fault."
No, the bad
And
guy.
you go and tear him in the shreds.
The bad guy
So-
slashes you, then teleports away. And the
Nothing
poor
personal,
wizard,
kid.
Bonus action Misty Step.
So the wizard dies of 1d4 hurt feelings.
Yeah,
Pretty
the
much.
wizard's sitting there going,
See, he dies just before the hit even comes. He's scared.
yep.
You start charging at him, and the wizard just falls
He gets
over.
up to the pearly gates. How did you die, sir? I dookie myself.
The wizard's like, actually, I'm not going to wait for you to roll blow on that. Moonbeam, you're
Ooh.
back to your regular form.
No.
Now,
I think the wizard can learn Moonbeam. I could be wrong.
I
on that.
don't think so. Maybe one of the subclasses. Possibly, I would probably say it'd probably be the blade singing.
Well,
because
here's the
the
question
elves-
though. So Moonbeam like reverts you back to your original form. So
Yeah.
I imagine that automatically gets rid of this because this is considered a hybrid transformation.
Mhm.
Would polymorph overrule these transformation features as well? What's your ruling on that?
Polymorph?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just pull up the readings of Moonbeam real quick.
No, not Moonbeam. I'm talking about polymorph.
Oh, the ruling of polymorph?
Like, would polymorph basically if so you're the wizard, right? Your turn is before the blood hunter who's now below half his hit points and he has a terrible wisdom or whatever. And you know he's going to roll low because the big bad's debuffed him or whatever.
Well, here's
So
the
you-
question. Are they going to be willing or unwilling? Because they're still going to have to make a wisdom saving throw.
And if they're
For a polymorph?
If they're raging, they're
Yeah.
going to be unwilling.
yeah, and that
That's how I would rule it. It would have to be the wisdom saving throw, and if it fails, they're coming after him.
plus you've got to take into account this is going to be a blood hunter, so not all wisdom throws are going to be going straight over their head.
Yeah, because they could base it off of their Himicraft die could be wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just
So,
saying. Like,
yeah.
this is an example. I'm asking, would polymorph negate the transformation features?
If they
making-
failed to save, yes.
Okay. Stalker's prowess at 7th level.
What are you talking about?
Your speed increases by 10 feet at 7th level. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
You add 10 feet to your long jump distance and 3 feet to your high jump distance.
wow.
Your hybrid form also gains the following additional benefits. Improve predatory strikes. +1 bonus to attack rolls made with your unarmed strike. This bonus increases to +2 at 11th level and +3 to 18th level.
I said that already. If you've been paying attention,
No, I don't pay attention to you.
fair.
Additionally, when you have an active Crimson Rite on your unarmed strike while in your hybrid form, your unarmed strikes are considered magical for the purposes of overcoming resistances and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage.
So this is a hairy and cooler form of the monk.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
and you get this at a later level. Monk gets it at 6th level, I believe.
Now at the 11th level, you gain advanced transformation, which is you just learn to unleash and control more of the beast within. You can use your hybrid transformation feature twice, regaining all expended uses on when you finish a short or a long rest. And you also gain lichen regeneration. At the start of each of your turns, when you have at least 1 hit point, but fewer hit points than your max hit points, you gain hit points equal to 1 plus your Constitution modifier. If you're in hybrid form, you gain these hit points before you must make the saving throw for your bloodlust.
See, this is where this class is becoming dangerous. I'm noticing the same set going on. Almost every single ability is short or long rest.
Yeah.
So this seems to be a type of class that's just set for you get knocked down, you're right back up in the
Yep.
fight.
This is meant to be up in your face with a sword or unarmed, especially with like the unarmed fighting, fighting style, or a great sword.
Basically.
Point of order, the improved predatory strikes is not what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it is.
No,
No.
it's
you
not the
talking about?
same. The damage dice increases at 11th level.
This is just a plus to the damage.
Yeah. So next time you listen.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Hold up for what? To prove me right?
You have a +1 bonus to attack rolls made with your unarmed strike, and it increases to 2 at 11th and 3 to 18th. With Feral Might, you have a +1 bonus to melee damage rolls. Okay. So you have the equivalent by 18th level of a +3 magical weapon.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
scared, Eric. Our
On your
parents are
fist.
listening.
We usually do.
Mommy, don't hit daddy.
You have, at 18th level, the equivalent of a +3 magical weapon.
You have a +6 if I'm reading this correct.
No, it's +3 to damage and then +3 to
Feral
hit.
Might gives you a +1 bonus to melee damage rolls, a +3 at 18th level to melee damage rolls,
Yeah.
a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
The improved predatory strikes gives a +1 bonus to attack rolls made with your unarmed strikes.
Yeah.
Not all melee. That's not the same wording, so they are different. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it's a +3 at 18th level.
So that's specific. So your improved predatory strikes is specifically for your unarmed. Your feral might can be used with any kind of weapon. But by the time you get up to what was it, 7th level?
No, Feral Might it can only be used while you're transformed.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
But you're
Because
not. You can't
why
use
would you
any
play
weapons.
this subclass and not transform?
Well, you can't use weapons while you're
No,
transformed.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you
Blood,
can.
Blood Hunter, the specifics for this says you can still use equipment, speed,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
wear armor.
So
Okay.
that's the kicker.
Okay.
But with the way it reads, Feral Might's giving you the bonus to damage, and the improved predatory strikes is giving you the plus to hit.
Yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
got the equivalent by 18th level
Yeah,
As a
okay.
plus-
with your unarmed strike of a +3 magical weapon, which with an unarmed strike, just like the monk refuses, ignores magical resistances.
Yeah.
So you're a werewolf with +3 claws.
Yep.
Nice.
So I was right. Thank you. I'm in the 90%
So
now.
slash,
What are you
slash,
talking about?
hooray.
What?
You said that those were the same.
And then you started to say it was a +6.
Yeah, I was wrong in that regard, but
Alright,
we're both
alright,
wrong.
alright,
Mommy,
kids,
don't hit daddy.
Kids, I'd like to remind you.
You keep
there's
talking,
Still,
I'm going to mute your mic.
there's still candy and hot chocolate at the end of this.
Coffee.
Hot chocolate.
No, thank you. I'll take coffee.
You can mix hot chocolate into it.
Ugh. Ruin a good cup of coffee.
I'll put a spoonful of ice cream in some coffee.
Aye. Now, at 15th level, you gain Brand of the Voracious. You have advantage on the saving throw for your Bloodlust while in hybrid form. That's nice, but it would be nicer if it came in earlier.
It's Voracious.
Okay. Additionally, your Brand of Castigation can now bind a foe to your Hunter's Ferocity. While in your hybrid form, you have advantage on attack rolls made against the creature branded by you.
Nice.
So Hunter's Mark.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Subclass Rogue.
Oof.
Or a multi-class Rogue. Sneak
Oof.
attack with the werewolf.
Now, at 18th level, you gain your Hybrid Transformation Mastery, so you have mastered your Inner Predator. You can use your transformation feature an unlimited number of times, and your hybrid form lasts until you revert to normal form, fall unconscious, or die. You also gain the Blood Curse of the Howl for your Blood Maledict feature. This doesn't count against the number of blood curses you know. Roger, what does the Blood Curse of the Howl do again?
I mean, I've got it right here.
Yeah, but he's the newest member of the podcast right
Yeah,
now,
they-
so we got to make him feel included.
Yeah, apparently.
We'll edit him out later.
Ha.
I'll edit them out right now. I'm muting.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Now, the Blood Curse of the Howl, as an action, you unleash a blood-curdling howl. Each creature within 30 feet of you that can hear must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw. If they fail, they become frightened, or until they become frightened of you until the end of your next turn. If a creature fails its saving throw by 5 or more, it is considered stunned while frightened in this way.
Wow.
A creature that succeeds on the saving throw is immune to this blood curse specifically for 24 hours.
So it's pretty much a miniature dragon figure.
Yeah.
Yep, and you can choose any number of creatures that you can see to be unaffected by this howl when you release it. And if you amplify it, it only gives it a bonus in range, so it goes up to 60 feet.
Yeah, but that's still the equivalent of like a
That's,
paladin's level up.
yeah, and then that's an action dash and movement to get away.
Yep.
I don't know.
But you still have to roll Bloodlust. And you
Yeah.
can make a
But
20th
you have
level wizard
advantage on
poo
it by the
himself.
But you have an advantage on it by the
But yeah.
yeah.
But there's still the option of making the 20th level wizard soil himself.
Which is hilarious.
Yes.
Because I can just imagine Ford turning around looking at Octavius and Octavius saying,
Ford, I promise it wasn't me.
I don't know. Everyone now is going to make the connection between Blood Hunter and The Witcher now, because the next one we got up on is the Order of the Mutant.
I mean, that's pretty much what the Blood Hunter
Well,
is.
why don't you
Well-
go over the mutagen?
I mean, I played the Order of Mutant.
You played the Order of Mutant?
Yeah.
Well,
I already explained this to
Speak
you.
up.
You know what? I'm muting your mic too. I'm kicking you off the show. Eric, you're my new co-host.
What's up?
See, he's gonna mute both of
Man,
us.
if we thought it was boring before, it's gonna be boring now for sure.
See,
Yeah.
he's gonna mute both of
Yeah.
us, and we're just gonna be sitting here playing patty cake.
Yep. patty cake, bakers.
I'll
man.
edit in the
Oh
sound
man,
of
we
patty
better
cake.
we better not sing that. We'll get copyright strike.
Oh man, not by the Patty
Well,
Cake
if
Foundation.
if that is the case, I am a guest here. You go over it, Jeremiah.
No, if you want to, you can. It's fine.
No.
I didn't play it for
Go
like
on.
months. You know, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I didn't play it for like 2 sessions.
It was actually, a total of 5.
As he aggressively fixes his glasses.
I don't even have glasses. Anyways,
Actually played it for 7.
but yeah, so the Order of Mutant is basically a person who does drugs to enhance themselves.
Sounds familiar. Shade.
You throwing shade around?
Slightly.
Throwing shade.
Don't
If
throw
I-
him into the wall, he'll go through it.
If I don't, old Daniken will.
So,
Yeah.
at 3rd level, you get Mutagen Craft. Basically, you learn some alchemical formulas known as mutagens that you can temporarily alter your mental and physical attributes. You can know that's determined by your level. If you're a 3rd level Blood Hunter, you can have 1 mutagen created, but 4 formulas. 7th level, you can have 2 mutagens created, and a total of 5. At 11th level, 2 mutagens created, and a total of 6 known. 15th is 3 and 7. 18th is 3, and a total of 8 formulas known.
So hear me out.
Yeah.
You could be a German World War II soldier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. No.
Hold up.
Hold on.
Oh, I don't think
Let
I
me
like
ex-
where this is
I
going.
don't
Hold
like
on,
where it's
no.
going either.
This is not. I'm just saying as a.
All right, Kanye, calm down.
Come on, man.
No.
All
They're-
right, yeah.
The German soldiers regularly took meth in the battlefield.
So are you saying
This
that
isn't
they're-
getting any better.
So you're
What?
I mean, it's historically accurate, sure.
You're doing drugs to make yourself better,
Yeah.
which is what all of the Axis powers did during World War II.
Well,
They all took meth candy bars basically
I don't think you
and
understand.
stayed up for 6 days at a time.
So you're saying that as long as they got their rest, their experience was a 9 out of 10?
Pretty much.
So basically, these formulas. World War II German soldier.
See,
Heck of a correlation, Eric.
Well, I mean, if you was
I'm
playing in
muting
a,
your mic too.
so now
it
it's
would
like
it would fit if you was playing in like a certain like
certain-
Hellboy esque campaign.
Okay, yeah.
so does it just go back to okay, welcome back to the podcast. This is Jeremiah and only Jeremiah.
Yeah,
Hi,
at
I'm
this point.
Jeremiah.
And I'm
this
the
is
only
my-
one left.
This is my co-host Jeremiah and our 2 guests, Jeremiah and
Insightful
Jeremiah.
Jerry.
Insightful Jerry.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah. And
Wait,
I'm
no.
Jeremiah.
Wait, no, the Allies called the Germans Jerry's. We can't do that.
Gee.
All right, I'm
Then we
muting.
go back to
I'm
9
muting.
out of 10.
I'm muting my mic now. This is the end of the episode.
Dead air now.
Crickets.
No, we're just gonna leave it dead air. Drive someone insane.
Okay.
Exactly.
So at 7th level, you get strange metabolism. Basically, you've been doing drugs and alchemical stuff for so long, you gain immunity to poison damage and the poison condition.
Now that's nice.
That is good.
And additionally, you can trigger a burst of adrenaline that lets you temporarily resist the negative effects of a mutagen. Yes, there are negative effects to drugs, kids.
Surprise, surprise.
So as a bonus action, you can ignore the negative side effects of one mutagen affecting you for 1 minute. Once you do so, you can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. At 11th level, you get Brand of Axiom.
Surprisingly, he said that correctly.
It's because I played this class. Pay attention.
Scrub.
Yeah. Calm down, Kanye. So
I think he's still stuck in World War II, man.
Uh-oh.
I was never there, so your mutagenic hemocraft lets you.
Come on, man. Focus.
Brand of Axiom.
Yeah, Roger, you read Brand of Axiom if you're.
Okay. At 11th level, your mutagenic hemocraft lets you brand of castigation reveal a foe's true nature. Any illusion or invisibility in effect on a creature when you brand it ends, and the creature cannot benefit from an invisibility or illusion effects while branded by you.
Wait a minute.
If a creature branded by you is in an alternative form, by the way, stuff like polymorph, change shape, all that, anything that has similar effects is considered here. It must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or it reverts immediately back to its true form and is stunned until the end of your next turn.
Wait a minute.
Whenever a branded creature attempts to alter its form, it also has to succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the attempt fail, and it becomes stunned until the end of your next turn again.
Jeez.
Wow.
That is basically the equivalent of no stay.
Holy crap.
That's basically like what it really is how it works is you grab them by the shirt collar and you're like, "Who are you?" and it scares them and they're just stunned.
And then they try to wriggle away and you just like backhand them and they're stunned again.
They're just like, "Who are you?" You just go full Batman. Where's Harvey?
Dang.
Anyways, yeah, so that's Brand of Axiom. Pretty good.
See, ours is going to be better because we're not going to have it like when the Superman-Batman fight happens. You're not going to have Martha.
Where's Martha?
Why did you say the name? So at 15th level, you get the Blood Curse of Corrosion, and this was one of my favorites. Roger, you want to read that one out for us?
Yes, I have you. Starting at 15th level, your Blood Curse can infuse a creature's body with terrible toxins. You gain the Blood Curse of Corrosion for your Blood Maledict feature. This doesn't count against the number of Blood Curses that you know. Well,
And what does the Blood Curse of Corrosion do?
No, I read that for you. How about you enlighten us, Jeremiah?
So the Blood Curse of Corrosion.
Insightful Jerry.
Let me find it. As a bonus action, you cause a creature within 30 feet of you to become poisoned. The cursed creature can make a Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the curse on itself on a success.
But wait, there's more.
If you amplify it, the cursed creature takes 4d6 necrotic damage. When you inflict
Wait a
its
minute.
curse.
How much?
4d6.
So
That
It
is-
just takes it.
we're talking about the element poison, not the song, right?
No, both.
Oh.
Yeah,
There's
the
no-
2d6 of
Okay,
it is
hold
a
up.
song.
Are you No, I'm not going to go there. Never mind.
Oh God! Now it's gonna play every time they're poisoned.
Yep.
But what you're telling me is that Britney Spears is an Order of the Mutant.
Pretty much.
Yeah, didn't you see her shave her head?
Oh no!
No,
I'm glad.
no,
she,
you're going,
no, like
you're
in
going
all
the
seriousness,
wrong path. You're going Britney Spears. Oh God, what were their names? I'm talking about even earlier. The song "Poison."
Yeah, wait. Britney Spears did Toxic.
Yeah, toxic.
well, even
Yeah.
still, it's the same thing. But
No.
I'm trying to.
No.
No, I'm not talking about the songs. I'm just talking about toxic poison. You get poisoned by toxic things. Now,
I had an ex who was toxic.
Who?
I did too.
Who was it that did that?
Oh God.
Anyways, if they fail it again, the Constitution saving throw, they take 4d6 necrotic damage again.
But see, they don't have to roll a poison save before they're poisoned.
No.
They just
I
become
think it's-
poisoned.
And you want to know something about the poison condition?
As Belle Biv
What's that?
DeVoe.
They have
Yep.
disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Ah.
Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yep.
Poison.
I'd sing it, but I don't want to get in trouble.
I think you'd just break our mics and I wouldn't have to mute any of them.
Hey, I just bought this mic and let it be good for a little while.
Oh, so I need to go outside and smack it against the railing.
No.
So did you go over Exalted Mutation yet?
No, not yet. But anyways, your body has adapted to produce mutagens naturally in a moment of need. As a bonus action, choose one mutagen currently affecting you. Its effects and side effects end, and you can immediately have a mutagen you know the formula for take effect in its place.
Hey, Jeremiah.
So
This is basically, here's how it works, okay? You're on crack. And you've taken meth before, okay?
Okay.
And you've taken heroin
Tried
before.
it before.
Right.
Like you know how it feels.
Yeah.
and now you become a Pepsi dispenser.
And so like what happens
drugs.
is you're like, you know what?
No,
I don't want to be high on crack. I want to be high on meth. and you think really hard with your crackhead brain,
See, Eric.
and then you suddenly feel like you're on meth instead of crack.
See, Eric. They're too cheap for like a Pepsi machine, so it's a Pez dispenser.
You're a poison dart frog with multiple poisons.
Little crack tablets.
Now the the frog just leans backwards a little.
Rename it the Krez.
By the way, Jeremiah, did you know that you can use that feature a number of times equal to your Hemocraft modifier? And you regain all expended uses after you finish a long rest.
Yes. Now, let's get into the mutagens, because that is the true bread and butter.
The brother?
Whoa.
This is the true bread and butter of the class.
God.
So,
Now, if we go over all of these,
Are
we'll be
you
here
good,
for a
brother?
while.
well, there's some that I want to hit on.
yeah.
So, as we've mentioned before, they do have negative side effects. Some of these have prerequisites, like either you have to be 11th level. It gives you a flying speed of 20 feet for 1 hour.
Is it true flying
you're
or is it
literally
the
high.
illusion of flying?
Yeah.
Well, you have disadvantage on strength checks and dexterity checks during this time.
Yeah, every
Literally
single
high.
every
I mean,
single
you
one of these has
do
a
You
You're
get
drawback.
high.
you get so high that you just become lighter than air. Cruelty, another 11th level. When you take the attack action, you can make an additional weapon attack as a bonus action. However, you have disadvantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws.
I could do with that.
There's also impermeable. You have resistance to piercing damage and vulnerability to slashing damage. And there's like 3 different ones that will give you resistance to like either piercing, slashing, or bludgeoning, and will give you vulnerability to another one of those. There's one that gives you resistance to cold and vulnerability to fire, and vice versa. Here's one that's really good. Potency. Your strength score increases by 3, as does your maximum for that score. However, you have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. Your strength score and your maximum increases by 4 if you consume this mutagen at 11th level, and by 5 at 18th level.
Wow.
I mean, you also have to consider precision on this end,
Well,
because you can.
Yeah, precision lets you crit on a 19 or 20,
Yeah.
but you have disadvantage on strength saving throws.
no, here's what you do, okay? What is it? A belt of frost giant strength sets your strength at 24 or 25? Somewhere around there?
I think so,
'Cause
yeah.
I think it's
There's one of them
Storm
that's like
Giant
20.
does 30. I
Yeah,
think.
there's something.
Okay, so I want to say it's Frost Giant. I could be wrong on that.
There's
but-
a belt that increases
yeah,
it to 24,
and it sets it at like
23.
24, 25.
Mhm.
So what you do is you build your Blood Hunter Order of the Mutant for strength and constitution and your Hemocraft modifier, whatever you do. You give him a decent health and you give him whatever he needs. You're using a great sword or a long sword and a shield, whatever. Now you drink the one of potency at 18th level, and your strength goes up to a 25. And that would be a +8 to hit, or +7 compared to a regular +5 from strength.
I believe so, yeah.
On top of a proficiency bonus of 6, which would be a 14.
Oof.
I don't know. You've got the one that I have a lot of memory for, because the one of the first total party TPKs we had was from a Blood Hunter style boss that we went up against in one of my old games. And the only reason we lost against him because he used because this one's for 7th level you can use it. It's called Reconstruction. It gives you the ability for 1 hour at the start of each of your turns. If you have at least 1 hit point, but fewer than half of your hit point maximum, you regain hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. The only downside to it is you lose 10 feet of speed. But if you've got the proper balance, you can negate that easily.
Yeah, you can mobility feat.
You could take the rapidity of the mutagen. Your speed increases by 10 feet.
Now, here's the only thing, though. I don't think that's as good as the Order of Lycan, where it's 1 plus your Constitution modifier.
Yeah, but
'Cause
the main thing is with this one, with Reconstruction, all you have to do is have a good ability to where you can get a set amount of feet away, and all you have to do is wait it out and stall.
Yeah,
That's true.
And that's how we ended up playing it, and all but one of us, fell that day, and the last person that lived, he had like 2 hit points left.
Yeah.
My favorite strat was to basically do a bunch of drugs that would kind of counteract each other, and I'd get like some benefits. I'd take potency and increase my strength, and then I'd take celerity or whatever it's called to increase my dex to kind of help mitigate that disadvantage on dexterity.
So say you're making a custom drug, a pinch of crack, a slight crystal of meth.
Yeah, remember when I said I was on crack and I've done meth? That was my character.
Yeah.
Now let me guess, he rolls it up in a nice little joint.
Nah.
Now, if you find
Oh,
yourself,
no, it's not.
No, IVs.
Oh.
if you
Even
find
better.
yourself wanting to play a warlock, but you don't want to play a warlock because it is the weakest class in D&D.
Cleric is.
All right.
I'm about
Then-
to beat you over here on my mic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, it's got to be good for a little while.
Okay. Warlock to take from 1st to 20th level as straight class is the weakest.
Sucks.
Yeah, it is. Well, I
Well,
won't say it's the
I'll
weakest,
say-
but
I'll
it
say
is
hit
the
point-
most unsafe.
I will say hit point wise, it is the most unsafe. But I'm going to say practicality wise, it's one of the best. I'm sorry, if you're going to go straight into uselessness, we have to go right back to the elements bar. I'm at the elements monk.
Well, that's
Oh, well,
that
that,
goes
that's
without
different,
saying.
though.
Before
I'm talking about the warlock as a whole.
No.
Before we
Warlock still
get
can
too off topic,
Nah.
just a quick reminder: don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Yeah.
But
Not
no.
worth it. But
No,
yeah,
no, no.
Warlock is. I agree with Robert. It's the least safe to take
Yeah.
up to 20th level.
Now, something like
it's good for multi-class.
the
The genie's
Hexblade, the
good.
Genie, and the Fiend are going to be the three that I could see somebody comfortably taking
But you wanna
from
do it
first
with
level
a
to
good
20th
party.
level. But I cannot say that to be the same with the Archfey, the Great Old One, the Undying, maybe the Celestial, or the Undead.
I mean, it's like having a Goliath barbarian. You going straight barbarian, you're not going to go wrong, and you're going to have a massive hit pool.
Yeah, no, it's just like you can go straight any other class and be okay.
Yeah.
The Warlock is the one you have to really be careful as to what your subclass or your pact is, because if you're not, you're you're living dangerously. Because the sad thing about the Warlock is, yes, you get access to a 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th level spell, but you have to cast those spells at the highest level available to you.
The amount of
That's the whole reason why most people that go Warlock after a certain amount of time, if they're going to go Glass Cannon, they do like Wizard plus Warlock. Because the Wizard, you at least have the choice of what you want to use.
Yeah. Now that's the biggest thing, is that it's just, unfortunately, as nice as the class as a Warlock is, right? Now I'm not sitting here just taking a dump on it because I like the Warlock.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
It's got to be played a specific way to be.
If I was going to go into a campaign, to go like Jeremiah's thinking about starting in the future, to go from 1st to 20th level, I would not play a straight Warlock, because I would, especially if it was one of those to where I do not want to have to roll up a new character. I want to see this character make it to 20th level.
your
I
old
wouldn't
man
go straight
Goblin
Warlock.
is not gonna live long. He's like in his last years of life. Just looking at him.
Well, I mean, he's had a hard life.
I don't know.
He's got another 19 years, thank you.
I've got a.
Just wait till
But
I
you
find
know
the
what?
potion of
Goblin
youth.
years, which is like a few days.
But you know
Wait
what?
till I find the potion
My
of
peace
youth.
domain cleric will help him out.
I've got a pretty good merchant put aside for that if I can get to it.
Please no.
Yes.
But yeah,
Hey, you're down. Hey, you seem like you need help. By the way, when we're out of here, how about you give me like 30 gold pieces and I'll give you this nice little red vial.
now here's the thing about the Profane Soul that's a little different from the Warlock.
This is interesting because
This is a safer option to take something like the an otherworldly patron warlock to a higher level.
now what this is. So the fighter and the rogue both had subclasses that was pretty much half fighter, half wizard, half rogue, half wizard.
Yeah.
This is half blood hunter, half warlock.
Yeah,
And it's honestly pretty
it's really
nice.
cool. Now, you get to choose an otherworldly patron at 3rd level, so you get the Archfey, the Fiend, the Great Old One, the Undying, the Celestial, the Hexblade, the Fathomless, the Genie, or the Undead. You get to make that choice in between them. Now, at 3rd level, you gain Pact Magic, to where you augment your combat abilities with the ability to cast spells. You learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the Warlock spell list, and if you don't take Eldritch Blast, you're full, because that's the only spell that Warlocks have, realistically. and you learn an additional Warlock cantrip of your choice at 10th level. Now, your Profane Soul spellcasting table shows how many spell slots you have. Down here on the table, at 3rd level, you have 2 cantrips, 2 spells, 1 spell slot of 1st level. Now, at 20th level, you have 3 cantrips, 11 spells known, 2 spell slots of 4th level. That's the whole drawback of the Warlock represented right there.
Well, this is basically a warrior hexblade.
Yeah, this is a warrior Warlock, like the Hexblade. But I think a little bit more deadly than the Hexblade, depending on what it reads like.
Depending on how you set up the initial Blood Hunter, this could hurt or help it.
Well,
Yeah.
this you don't have to do a warrior, then multi-class in the warlock.
Here's the other
basically-
thing. Here's the other thing to think about. This is pretty much a multi-class in and of itself.
Yeah.
Almost. So it's giving the Warlock more survivability just solely based alone on the 1d10 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you take the average compared to the d6, you're automatically going to be gaining 2 hit points more per level.
Now, I like the other ability to get at 3rd level because it gives you a lot. I mean, you get to pick your otherworldly patron, and that I love it when you can customize your character a whole lot. So
And
basically,
we need to go over all of these.
yeah. So basically, while you have an active Crimson Rite, you can use your weapon as a spellcasting focus for your Warlock spells, and you get a specific benefit based off of your patron. So with the Archfey, when you damage a creature with a weapon with the active Crimson Rite, that creature glows with a faint light until the end of your next turn. Basically, they don't get any benefit from cover or from being invisible.
Yeah, they can't go invisible.
Celestial. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 use of your Blood Maledict feature to heal 1 creature you can see within 60 feet. They regain a number of hit points equal to 1 roll of your Hemocraft die plus your Hemocraft modifier.
Now, my favorite patron for the Warlock, the Fathomless. You can breathe underwater. Additionally, once per
We're
turn...
taking him to that sea campaign.
Yep. Additionally, once per turn, when you damage a creature with a weapon for which you have an active Crimson Rite, you can reduce that creature's speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn.
Oh, could you imagine hitting him with that and then...
Ray of Frost.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good luck walking 2 squares away, buddy. I'm coming for you.
Now, one of the more survivable subclasses for the Warlock, the Fiend, while using the Rite of Flame, if you roll a 1 or 2 on a damage die, when you roll the extra damage from the right, you can re-roll the die and choose which one to roll, or which roll to use.
That's pretty good. Genie, as a bonus action, you can expend the use of your Blood Maledict feature to give yourself a flying speed of 30 feet, which lasts for a number of rounds equal to your Hemocraft modifier.
Now, that's nice.
Yeah, that's not bad.
What about the Great Old One? When you score a critical hit against a creature, that creature and any other creatures of your choice within 10 feet of it are frightened of you until the end of your next turn.
No save.
No save at all.
If
So
you
basically,
crit,
you hit
they're
them so
scared.
hard that
They see
Cthulhu comes out.
Yep.
Says boo.
See, that would work really well with like a bard pairing in the party, because if they're frightened, they can't move towards you. That's the best way to get someone in a very bad predicament and tell them to flee, to command them.
Yeah.
Or even throw it in with any of the cleric subclasses with spirit guardians, to where their movement is then halved, to where they cannot get closer, but they really can't get out of range.
Frighten them
And
into
they're
a spirit
taking
guardian.
at least 3d8 radiant damage,
Or-
either full or halved. at the
Frighten
start
them
of every
into
turn.
a
Bam, bam,
Yep.
yeah.
Honestly, I would like to see like 2 players or characters on a field that have 1 NPC frightened and see what kind of maneuvering they would do in that circumstance.
You know, that'd be kind of...
Yeah.
2 guys with the NPC frightened in the middle of a hallway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of broken. You get them into a corner and you make it to where they can't go anywhere. You got 2 clerics, you got 1 blood hunter and 1 bard. By the time fear runs out, command them to stay,
Yeah.
and then you've got, bam, 2 spirit guardians overlapping.
Yep.
That's basically
Well-
just a grinding wheel.
Well, they'd only be able to get affected by one of them.
I know, but
One
say you
runs
have
out.
it next to each other, so if he moves out of that one,
So you've just increased the range.
yeah, he's going basically into the other one. It's a grinding wheel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the Hexblade, when you successfully target a creature with a blood curse, the next time you hit that creature with an attack while the curse is in effect, The attack deals additional damage equal to your proficiency modifier.
It's not bad.
It's up to a +6. That's
Yeah.
guaranteed 6 damage as long as you successfully target them.
It's all right.
Now, the undead, when you take necrotic damage, you can use your reaction to have that damage. In addition, your appearance changes to reflect some aspect of your patron while you have any Crimson Rite active. That's cool for roleplay.
Yeah.
And the Undying, when you reduce a hostile creature to of at least mild threat, up to DM's discretion, to 0 hit points, you regain a number of hit points equal to 1 roll of your Hemocraft die.
I don't really like the mild threat wording there.
No.
I honestly would rule it like any time.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're 20th level and you kill a bandit. I mean,
I would
come on.
even then,
Yeah.
because it's like, the thing is, the Blood Hunter is going to lose that real quick
Yeah. But at the same
from their own self.
Yeah.
Because they're rolling their Hemocraft die to damage themselves to activate some of these abilities.
Fair.
But at the same time, I'm starting to like this one a little more as we read into it, because each one has different perspectives of magic you can use. But also because of this, you've got Mystic Frenzy, which is gained at level 7. When you use an action to cast just like a standard cantrip, you immediately can make a weapon attack as a bonus action.
Which is similar in a way to the Blade Singing Wizard, because as a Blade Singing Wizard, as your attack action, because at 5th level you gain a second attack, which is interesting to see on any kind of wizard subclass. When you take the attack action for that second attack, you can cast a cantrip in the place of a melee attack.
Yeah. With having Mystic Frenzy, that immediately gives you the utility to, cast and keep, the fight going.
And the thing is, it does not have to be an attacking cantrip.
Yeah.
No.
It could be minor conjuration or,
Yeah.
not minor conjuration, minor illusion to distract someone.
Now,
Yeah.
this specifically says 1 weapon attack as a bonus action.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
If you could distract them, make them turn around. As the bonus action, stab them in the back.
But here's where it kicks into overdrive. With Revealed Arcana that you also gain at 7th level, depending on what patron you chose, you get to cast a spell.
Yeah.
You can cast it using any packed magic spell slot, but you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. But it's not going to count against your spells known.
Nice.
So if you're the Archfey, Blur. Celestial, Lesser Restoration. Fathomless, Gust of Wind. Fiend, Scorching Ray. Genie, Phantasmal Force. Great Old One, Detect Thoughts. Hexblade, Branding Smite. Undead, Blindness, Deafness. And Undying, Silence.
These are all pretty good spells.
Now, what were you gaining from the Hexblade up here? When you successfully target a creature with a blood curse, the next time you hit that creature with an attack while the curse is in effect, the attack deals additional damage equal to your proficiency modifier. Now you have Branding Smite on top of that. And that's a concentration spell that lasts for a minute, to where you don't have to worry about the fact that by 11th level you only have
No, Brandon's
2 spell slots.
But what about at 11th level, you get Brand of the Sapping Scar.
I like that name. It's just
So your Brand of
Intimidating.
Castigation that we talked about,
yeah.
basically, when you have a creature branded by it, they have disadvantage on saving throws against your Warlock spells.
Wow.
Now, I would like to point something out. If you were to multiclass into Warlock, they have disadvantage against those spells as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to multiclass into Wizard, Bard, Sorcerer, any other spellcaster,
Yep.
it doesn't work. It's only against your Warlock spells. If you were to pick up Magic Initiative, pick Warlock for that. That still counts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ritual Caster for Warlock. That would count as well.
But here's where it gets scary, because if you gaining that in 11th level, at 15th level you gain Unsealed Arcana. Once again, free spell every long rest without expending a spell slot. The Archfey, slow. They have disadvantage. Celestial, Revivify, Fathomless, Lightning Bolt, disadvantage. The Fiend, Fireball, disadvantage. Genie, Protection from Energy. Great Old One, Haste. Hexblade, Blink. Undead, Speak with Dead. Undying, Bestow Curse, disadvantage.
Yeah.
That's scary. At 15th level, the Profane Soul is no joke and blows the Warlock, outside of the fact that it can get the higher level spells for free, out of the water.
Yeah.
Because without feats, It's already proficient with light and medium armor and shields and martial weapons. And it's still able to run up and go hand to hand with anything without having to be the Hexblade.
Well,
Or
if I was
Fiend.
gonna play the Profane Soul and then multi-class into a Warlock, I'd probably be using a crossbow.
Yeah.
You got
Set the curse, and then just start casting Warlocks. Start
A heavy
catching Eldritch
crossbow
Blast.
of 1d10 damage.
Yeah. And
Now,
then just sit back and cast.
at 18th level, the Blood Curse of Soul Eater. You learn to siphon the life energy from fallen prey. You gain the Blood Curse of Soul Eater of your Blood Maledict feature, and it does not count against the number of blood curses known. You have that pulled up, anybody?
I do.
Go ahead, Roger.
Just before you read that,
Yeah.
Rob, you need to prepare yourself.
Okay.
Just not the amplified part, just the regular part.
Fair.
Be prepared.
Okay, I'm
Roger.
preparing.
because this is
Setting my mind back into the Peace Domain and Twilight Domain
Yeah,
Cleric.
because this it takes a.
Roger, please read that out loud for
Yeah,
everyone to
this
hear.
is ridiculous.
Read it for the class, Roger.
When a creature that isn't a construct or undead is reduced to 0 hit points within 30 feet of you, you can use your reaction to offer their life energy to your patron in exchange for power. Until the end of your next turn, you make it tax with advantage and you have resistance to all damage.
Are they smoking crack?
All damage.
No, that's
man.
the mutant.
That's the order of the mutant. Now, what does the amplify?
That's not
Or
the
is-
amplified?
No.
No, amplified. Additionally, you regain an expended warlock spell slot once you've amplified this blood curse. You must finish a long rest before you amplify it again, but you still get the warlock spell slot on top of resistance to all damage and advantage on all attacks.
No. That's backwards, okay? It should be you get a spell slot back because you want to know why? At 18th level, you have a whopping 2
Yeah.
at 3rd level. 2 spell slots at 3rd level. That's all you've got. But no, they want to throw resistance to all damage and what else?
It's
Advantage.
resistant to all damage and all attacks that you make that turn have advantage.
Okay,
Well,
they're going to throw resistance to all damage and advantage on all attacks until the end of your next turn that you've made
I'd like
on
to-
the base. But you want to amplify it and get something that by that point's not even going to matter.
I would like to point something out. The advantage also counts for spells that target something. With
Yeah,
the
you know
I
what I'm
swear.
doing? Eldritch Blast.
So that's when you pop it, amplify, use one of your spells, then have that spell slot back.
Do you want to know why? Because if you're low health, if you have 2 3rd level spell slots and you cast Vampiric Touch with freaking advantage.
You
And
wanna
if you amplify it, you get it right freaking back.
you wanna know something even better?
But it's backwards.
But
Yeah,
you want to know
it's
something that
kinda
makes it even better?
What's that?
It says when a creature that isn't a construct or undead is reduced to 0 hit points, not killed. Your ally goes down to 0 hit points without dying.
Oh my
within 30 feet of you.
God.
This activates.
Oh,
So you just walk
my
around letting your
God.
party die.
Okay. Calling it now. Low levels, Ghost Slayer and Lycan. Strongest. Mid-range, Lycan and Mutant.
Yeah.
Strongest. Late game, nothing
Soul.
touches the Profane Soul.
That's why you go through.
Nothing.
Here, that's when you set it up role play and mechanic wise. You go through, you start recruiting low level NPC adventurers to come with you, so you can pop that when you need to.
You become a cult
Just-
leader.
Yes.
Bust open the tavern door. Go to this level 1 adventure party. You want to come kill a dragon with
Who
me?
wants to live
Exactly.
forever?
Because as soon as
Definitely
you
not
make
you.
that down, you're just like, okay, well, congrats, man. I'll help you out in a minute, but until then, you going down.
So basically, you just walk around recruiting for your own personal army
Basically,
of health potions.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about Germans from
Make
World
it
War
easy.
II
No,
again.
make it easy on yourself. You can pair this up with a glamour college, a glamour bard. Have a posse follow that bard around, and then they go down every so often.
Oh my gosh. Now, no. Pair it with a necromancer wizard
Oh,
who can raise undead as a thrall. When they drop to 0, this activates.
No.
It don't work on
can't-
undead.
It can't be
No,
construct or undead.
The living
Oh.
person gets dropped to 0.
Yes.
The reaction triggers for the blood hunter. They get resistance advantage.
Then the
Wizard
necromancer raises
Raises
them.
them.
raises them.
Yep.
So now,
Okay, so-
not only does the Blood Hunter get the bonuses, but they
Yep.
still have another person acting on their side.
So
of
you're
the action
feeding
economy.
2 classes with one
Yep.
ability.
Now, here's the thing. That was the last subclass for this class. There are no more classes to cover. So instead of making a whole nother episode devoted to this, because I know we're wanting to take a small break from TID&D to get ready for new material for this show, along with getting the Dreadful Six written, recorded, and edited for that.
That is
Um,
an ordeal.
Let's go ahead and do it at the end of this one. Obviously, when we know these 4 are ridiculously powerful,
Yep.
but out of the classes of D&D, you have the Artificer, Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard, and now Blood Hunter covered in full detail outside of a couple of fighter subclasses in which we pretty much already know what they do. Your top 3.
Top 3 classes or
With your top
subclasses?
3 classes listing subclasses as to why they're the top 3.
All right.
I mean, we already know what my number 1 is, so that's
Anything
easy.
cleric?
Anything cleric.
Cleric is your number 1, 2, and 3 choice, Rob.
Well, that's the thing. That's where I'm going to differ. I enjoy playing cleric, but at the same time, it really just takes it because my first, I would probably go bard, and I'd probably be because just the role play that you could have with it in general with College of Glamour, you could add a lot of stuff to that. Plus, with Fey ancestry, it makes things a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. What would I go with second? Dang.
Well, while you're thinking of your second, my number 1 is and will always be the cleric because it is the most well-rounded, depending on what your subclass you do.
It can do a
Look
little bit
at
of
the
everything.
Twilight domain, the Peace domain, the War domain, the Forge domain, the Tempest domain, any kind of, if you want to be proficient with heavy armor, there's 5 different ones. If you want martial weapon proficiency, there's 5 or 6 different ones. If you want to be really good at spells, there's the Arcane, the Twilight. If you want to become almost a living god, the Twilight, the Peace. There's so much there. That's why I said in that Facebook post, it is the quintessential all-rounder of D&D 5e and is often overlooked for the fighter or the rogue with what they're able to do because the cleric is viewed as the healer and nobody wants to play them because of the stigma that comes with the name cleric.
Yeah.
When they are easily the deadliest member of the party and easily the most useful.
Hold on, let me step off that soapbox real quick. Let me get that for you. But no, you are. I agree with you.
I'm not wrong. I may not be 100% right.
We're
I'm not
we're
fully wrong.
90% right. You
Yeah.
know, that 10% could be like one of the subclasses.
And anybody can disagree with me.
For me personally, Way of the Four Elements is probably the best. Now,
Ow!
I will say that probably my favorite, and it's just because that was like my first real 5e D&D character was the monk, because one, it's so simple to use.
Oh, very.
You don't need weapons, you don't need armor, you just need your hands and a few key points. It's the resource management is minimal.
Yep.
At best, it's minimal, but the amount of combos you can do is stellar.
Yep.
The mobility, the amount of times you can attack, the things you can do with key and some of the subclasses, incredible. Being able to run up vertical walls and over water, you don't even need a pirate ship to be a pirate anymore. You just run over the ocean.
Yep.
The
he was
things
running.
they get without not having to age.
Jenny,
Yeah.
I just started running.
Having proficiency with all saving throws in later levels.
Oh yeah.
Magical hands. I mean, magic hands, man. You gotta respect that.
Jazz
she said.
hand. Eric, what's your number 1?
Circle of the Moon Druid.
Specifically, Circle of the Moon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So pretty much Druid is your number 1 class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've played with this man and he's been a druid?
Yeah.
I believe he's been a druid more than Michael Garrity's been a rogue.
But here's the problem, though. The only reason I think that you say Circle of the Moon specifically is because it's the only subclass that can go up to a CR6 with their wild shape.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, it'd have to go
Plus
something like
the
Circle of the Wind or
elemental.
Wildfire.
Elemental Wild Shape.
Yeah.
Well, we can bring.
The Elemental Wild Shape is nice.
I don't know. For my second, we can bring a Blast of the Past back from Jeremiah's campaign. back when I did, fighter.
Yeah.
I do enjoy fighter, but have a tiefling fighter, Eldridge Knight subclass.
Yeah. The fighter's a good class.
It's a good
It's solid.
Yeah, it's a good in your face, but it has that utility because you've got the spells. And if you go tiefling race for that, for some reason, I don't know why I like it so much, but you can also put Hellish Rebuke into that. So you get popped, the reaction, the attacks, and then you got that utility if you need to heal, mark someone, give assistance.
I mean, if we want to throw a subclass into the mix with our picks, then my number 1 is War Domain. War Domain Cleric. My number 2, however, it's going to sound dumb. I realize this. But there's so much there to be, uncovered. And it's based on the greatest character that I ever made and played, Philip Von Terrius Hildebrand III in the College of Lore Bard.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good class.
Because, yes, it's the base level Bard. It's not the College of Spirits or the College of Whispers or anything with the extra psychic damage that you do from dealing damage. It's not the College of Creation, the Glamour, or Eloquence. But Lore's just got this feel to it that's just kind of homely. And it's able to do more than what people kind of think. And it's really well-rounded for the Bard. It's not overly magical. It's not overly martial either. It's kind of a mix in between. You want to be good at something that maybe the College of Swords isn't. You want to be good at something that maybe the College of Whispers isn't. College of Lore or College of Valor is the way to go.
I'd say second for me is Artificer Artillerist.
All right.
The reason why
Yes.
is because I like to go boom.
Fair.
That is legit. Also because I played one, and it was probably one of the longest campaigns that I've been a player in besides yours.
Yep.
And the character I made, loved him, and I mean, it was just awesome.
Yeah, I got a feeling Celestial Warlock is not going to come out of Jeremiah's mouth for his top 3.
No.
Undying Warlock, maybe, but Celestial Sword, or what is it?
Divine Soul Sorcerer?
Divine Soul Sorcerer. That's what it is.
No, that's not coming out either.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a sorcerer, it'd be the Storm Sorcery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric, what's your number 2?
I also will go with the Artificer, but the Armorer.
Yep. Marcel has really shone in the past 2 years.
It's a really good subclass.
Like when every other character has pretty much gone down, Marcel is that shining star to the north leading them on.
And even being a little bit nerfed in your campaign, it's still great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was that one combat I was healing everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, still
I mean, come on, just put some
wasn't very good.
Marcel can do
Okay,
a ton of
first of
damage
all-
plus heal himself.
First of all, don't you disrespect Giovanni like that.
Giovanni Pampatonis.
Every single action I took and bonus action was to heal somebody else and get them out of 0 hit points back to at least a
That's only
handful.
because Bucko over here decided that he only could come 2 times a month.
Hey,
Sometimes 2 times every 4 months.
hey, life happens, man. Life happens.
Life happens.
Well, but since life's been happening, what's your third top class? And if you want to throw a subclass or 2 in with it, go ahead.
I'll put it this way. I did enjoy going through the cleric when I did it, but I got to say, especially with, let's say, a Brax in the current game, I had more fun out of it when he shifted to, Vengeance Paladin.
Yep.
Because they gain a lot more abilities they can do, and it adds a lot of role play in keeping, the oath you made, making sure you don't break it, and if you do, it gives.
Especially with the fact that you are already a Grave Domain cleric going into a path of an Oath of Vengeance Paladin. That was a really interesting combo.
Yeah, and honestly, that's why I'm trying to make it in more for a Brax, because that's it's a fun direction to put him in.
Oh yeah. Now my third has to go to the Barbarian, specifically Totem.
Yeah.
Totem Warrior
Yeah.
Barbarian is possibly the strongest out of all of them. There's arguments against it, but specifically in the lower levels up to about 5th or 6th level when you're gaining resistance to everything except for psychic damage, and you've got a massive health pool, you've got a massive strength modifier, you're almost untouchable.
Well, you're not untouchable. You're unkillable.
Yeah.
I mean, they touch you a lot.
Until you get your unarmored defense, in which, if you
Yeah.
have a good, you have a decent dex, a good con, then you're almost untouchable too.
Yeah, well, you want to be touched, so you can keep that rage going.
Touch me, baby.
Well, all you got to do is make an attack.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. But there's
And then at later levels,
You could
get
throw a
relent-
rock at somebody from 30 feet
And then
away.
at later
That's an
levels,
attack.
you get relentless rage, to where you can literally walk around 24/7 in rage.
no, it's not like that. It just doesn't end early.
What do you mean?
The,
I'm not a barbarian. I just have anger issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair. Well, what's your third insightful, Jerry? Dr. Jeremiah?
I'm not a doctor, and it's actually Dr. Jeremiah.
Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
Back when I was at camp and we did those online videos, my character was Dr. Jeremiah. You've seen him.
All right, Kanye.
Listen here. He's over there.
What's your
those-
third?
My third, either paladin or sorcerer.
I was going to say Paladin's going to have to make it in here sometime, some way, because it's too good to be crossed over. I'm not saying that the rest aren't,
I specifically Paladin of Conquest, like Oath of Conquest, because I like the concept of Crusaders, not what they did.
Yeah.
Let me be clear about that. I like people in big plate armor going on righteous quests and killing evil people. Not because of religious differences, but because actual undead and demons and things of that nature, like really
D&D.
You're talking
The fantasy
more,
crusader.
You're talking about more, in the fantasy where there's a clear boundary between good and evil.
Yeah, the fantasy
the other-
crusader,
Yes.
one that is an actual holy and righteous warrior who may have some slight anger issues, but he's directing it in a divine wrath.
What the
Yeah.
Crusaders should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorta, yeah.
there was a lot of games that gave you that full good and evil vibe from that.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
but of course, whenever I play like a Oath of Conquest Paladin, I'm never like the righteous warrior. I'm like, I want to do what I want to do, and I have a deity on my side. You
So-
will bow down to my.
Yeah.
I become a tyrant, and I actually do end up becoming like an actual crusader.
So chaos incarnate.
It's
Yeah.
more of just like, I'm right, you're wrong, bow down to me, I'm blessed by the Pope. Yeah, I become an actual crusader, the ones that were not good.
Yeah. Eric, what's your third?
Cleric. But I'd have to go tie between probably Life and Tempest Domain,
Yep.
with a special shout out to the Forge Domain.
Mm-hmm.
But the Tempest is just so much fun.
The big hammer. Ding ding.
Run around Mjolnir, basically, as a cleric.
The boombox.
I mean,
Yes.
that's the kicker. I mean, that's our top three.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's anybody else's.
I mean, we're right, and everyone else is wrong.
Yeah, we're right 90% of the time.
See, you well, at least I didn't go old Dante's Inferno over there, man.
That's fair.
I was thinking more Diablo 3.
No, we're gonna give Dante's Inferno more for
Fair.
that one.
I'd say more Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks from today, we will be sitting down to record the first episode of the Dreadful Six. So, if y'all pray, keep us in your prayers. Send good vibes our way that everything goes well, because
2 weeks.
it's going to be a week after this releases.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
2 weeks from recording, a week after release.
And y'all get to hear a lot more of me.
Yeah.
We'll mute your mic.
And I'll
Yeah.
say more than just, yeah.
So
And hi,
if,
I'm
we, if
Eric.
we enter a section where it's like, oh gods, where is he at? Don't worry, I'm
Pretty much.
yeah.
It's just gonna.
But you'll be able to meet both. We decided to do a fun and serious narrator, so me and Jeremiah are going to be bantering in between each other, just like we do on here.
It'll be so much fun.
You're going to be able to meet Kriv, the Goliath fighter, the artificer Marcel, who's a lot of basis in my in my campaign.
Yeah, he's been pretty ingrained in the
Formir, the druid, and Abrax, the Grave Domain cleric. And those are the 4 characters that started off in this campaign at the very beginning.
And eventually they will turn into the Dreadful Six.
Yep. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
So, keep an eye on the page. both Facebook and obviously, if you're listening to this, you'll already know about it because we've mentioned it, I think, twice before now.
Something like that.
But it'll be directly uploaded to Spotify under the name of Dreadful 6, a D&D story. And we hope you're going to like it because...
I mean, I've liked playing it for the past, 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've lost all meaning of time, but it's still a pretty good story.
It doesn't feel like we've been
I
playing
don't
it for
know.
2 years.
Us going forward with this is going to give us all a chance to experiment in new directions for how we're going to set things up.
Yep. And it's going to give us the opportunity to relive the stuff that we've almost forgotten about.
Yeah.
I've already forgotten about the entire campaign.
Wait, who
Fair.
are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Who am I? I don't know.
Remember, he's Dante.
Oh, yeah, Dante. What's
Yeah,
up?
insightful Dante.
But, Roger, Eric, thank you for joining us on the last episode of D&D for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a
Because,
pleasure. Man.
like I said, we're going to take a little bit of a break, put our heads together, and figure out what exactly direction we're going to be going. Especially with this new licensing information coming out from Wizards of the
I heard
Coast,
about
seeing
that.
what
Don't even get me started on
we're
that.
going to see what direction that's going to be going in, and see if it's going to affect us any. In the meantime, we're going to miss you guys.
Keep
But
on.
we'll be back.
See, hold out hope. You'll get to hear us all screaming into microphones soon.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
pretty much.
Yeah.
All 5 of you, our beloved listeners.
I think he's down to 4 now. I think the 5th one had a heart attack.
Fair.
Listening to the Twilight Domain.
Yeah.
And then we're down. to 3 because
Are you sure?
I accidentally get muted every time.
Are you sure it was the Twilight Domain, or is it because it was Owen?
Who knows?
Oh, like this is an avenging angel. There's nothing holy about this.
See, the avenging part is when he gets to be killed.
Yep.
Well, even the devil was an angel at one time.
At one time, what has he done for me recently?
Fair.
Wasn't a very good one.
Nah, I didn't say he was a good one. He was just one.
Kind of sucked at being an angel so bad he got demoted.
It's like, what has he done for me recently? Well, you got a flu the other week. Really?
Anyways, guys, keep on rolling high.
And we'll see y'all next
Time.
Yeah.
It's D&D.